how are you? Today we're here, Ibti, Mireia and Katerina, and
As history students, we thought it would be really important to discuss the role of women in World War II.
so, zooming.
World War II began in 1939 because Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, was expanding rapidly through Europe. Years before the war, Germany had already taken over Austria and parts of Czechoslovakia, showing that Hitler didn't have the intention to stop or respect any diplomatic agreements. His goal was to reshape Europe and create a dictatorship under German control. What broke out the war was when Germany invaded Poland on 1st September 1939. Britain had promised to support Poland, so this attack left the British government with a political and moral duty to respond. Britain sent an ultimatum demanding Germany to withdraw, and when Hitler ignored it, Britain declared war on 3rd September. But there were other important reasons too. If Germany managed to dominate Europe, Britain would be isolated, threatened at sea, and potentially vulnerable to invasion. The British also believed that Nazism was a direct danger to democratic countries and to the balance of power in Europe. Years of trying to avoid conflict had failed, and by 1939 it was clear that German aggression wouldn't stop on its own. In conclusion, Britain entered the war to defend Poland, to stop Hitler's expansion, and to protect its own security and the future of Europe.
This is London. You will now hear a statement by the Prime Minister.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
So what was the role of women? World War II brought major changes to women's lives, particularly in Britain, as millions of men left for military service and women stepped into roles previously considered men's work. Women worked in factories, engineering, transport, farming and the armed forces, gaining new skills and independence, and also played an essential part in Britain's war effort, taking on roles that were far more varied and important than in previous wars. With many men serving overseas, women stepped into positions that kept the country and the military running. Many joined the auxiliary military services. In the auxiliary territorial services, women worked as drivers, mechanics, and radar or anti-aircraft assistants. In the WAAF, they helped defend the skies by handling communications, maintaining aircraft, and tracking enemy planes. The WRNs, or RENs, supported naval operations through intelligence work, communications, and repairs.
Industry was another key area. Women work long hours in munition factories, producing weapons, ammunition, aircraft parts, and ships. Their labor kept Britain supplied during some of the hardest years of the war. On the home front, the Women's Land Army helped keep the country fed by running farms and producing food, which was vital when the imports were under attack. Others served as ambulance drivers, first aid workers, and volunteers during bombings, especially in the Blitz. Women were crucial in secret operations. At Bletchley Park, the majority of the code-breaking staff were women who operated complex machines and helped decipher German messages, including those from the Enigma machine. Some women even served as undercover agents in the occupied Europe, gathering intelligence and supporting resistance groups. They also kept everyday life going, managing rationing, growing vegetables in big for victory gardens, helping evacuate children, and supporting communities. We mustn't forget all the victims and testimonies from World War II. They are memories, and forgetting them would be one of the worst crimes around the world. Here we are going to talk about some of these women who survived, explaining her history. Lisa Carter was born in Germany in 1935 and escaped the Nazis at age 4, traveling alone through several countries before reaching safely in Britain. Separated from her mother due to visa restrictions, she grew up with foster families in Leeds and later willed her life there, eventually marrying and having 3 children. Many of her relatives were martyred in the Holocaust, and these losses shaped her commitment to education and remembrance. She became an active speaker on tolerance and Holocaust awareness, work for which she was later awarded the British Empire Medal.
Suzanne Rappaport-Ripton was born in Paris in 1936 and had a happy early childhood until the Nazi occupation in 1940. In 1942, when she was 6, her parents were arrested by the French police and the SS. A brave neighbor, Madame Colomb, rescued Suzanne and hid her before she was placed with foster families in the French countryside, where she endured difficult conditions. After the war, she was taken to England by the Red Cross, faced further hardship, but eventually rebuilt her life, working, marrying, and raising 2 children. Suzanne never saw her parents again, who were murdered in the Holocaust. She became a committed educator on Holocaust remembrance and was a founding member of the Holocaust Survivors Friendship Association, now Holocaust Center North. For her work, she was awarded the British Empire Medal, and she passed away in 2025, aged 88.
Ruth Rugoff was born in Zwickau, Germany in 1933 into a religious Jewish family and fled with her parents and younger brother to Czechoslovakia in 1938 after her father was arrested for helping others escape the Nazis. The family secured visas and reached Britain on 2nd September 1939, the day Britain declared war on Germany, and were reunited after her mother found her father in a refugee hostel. They settled in Leeds, where Ruth went to school, later studied languages at university, became a teacher, married, and raised 5 children. Many of her relatives were murdered in the Holocaust. Ruth lived an Orthodox Jewish life, later emigrated to Israel while keeping a home in Leeds, and remained grateful for the refuge Britain gave her family.
The Special Operations Executive is a British organization formed in World War II to conduct espionage, sabotage, and reconnaissance in German-occupied Europe and to support resistance movements. Since the armed forces couldn't accept women, they had to join the FANI, which is an independent voluntary organization that still operates today. Through there, women were recruited by the Special Operations Executive for various roles, including couriers, radio operators, and saboteurs. Their effectiveness was sometimes enhanced because they were underestimated by the enemy.
Nancy Kraysa-Huswick was a New Zealand-born nurse and journalist who joined the French resistance and later the Special Operations Executive. Wake is one of the many influential women working for the Special Operations Executive. According to an article by History UK, she was given the nickname the White Mouse by the Gestapo because of her uncanny ability to evade capture. Her principal job was to organize the reception and distribution of army and material for the resistance group, which was pursued into Algiers nearly every other night. In her autobiography, Wick describes a night when Nazi force attacked and she learned that one of the resistance groups no longer had a radio for communication. So Wake allegedly rode 300 kilometers on a bicycle to make radio contact with the Special Operations Executive headquarters and arrange for equipment dropped. Despite many close calls, Wake survived the war and was awarded with the George Medal, the United States Medal of Freedom, la Médaille de la Résistance, and le Croix de Guerre. She died on the 7th of August 2011, aged 98.
Noor Inayat Khan served in the Auxiliary Territorial Service, a women's branch of the British Army. She was recruited by the Special Operations Executive and worked as an agent under the codename Madeline. Khan became the first female wireless operator to be sent from the UK into occupied France to aid the French resistance. According to Wikipedia, on the 24th June 1943, the Prosper network that Khan had been sent to be a radio operator for began to be rounded up by the Germans. She remained in radio contact with London. When she was given the opportunity to fly home, she refused and stated that she feels like she's the only radio operator in Paris. After her entire team was ambushed and arrested, Noor Khan was betrayed to the Gestapo by a French national hoping for a large reward. Khan did not break during interrogation and attempted escape from her captures several times. Sent to Dachau in September 1944, she was executed upon arrival. Khan was awarded the George Cross posthumously.
Another important figure for the British forces was Violet Zappo. Zappo was probably recruited by the Special Operations Executive because of her fluency in French and her previous service in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. She was sent to a Special Operations Executive School where she learned escape and evasion, uniform recognition, communications and cryptography, and had further training in weaponry. Her second mission into occupied France, Zappo was captured by the German army after twisting her ankle and helping her colleague escape by staying behind and providing him with covering fire. Upon her capture, she was interrogated, tortured, and deported to Ravensbrück concentration camp in Germany, where she was executed. Violet Zappo and Noor Khan are the first women in history to posthumously be awarded the George Cross.
After World War II, the against women made it part-time jobs were partly reversed as many were pushed out of men's work to make room for returning servicemen. But women's participation in the labor market still grew because of post-war economic expansion and job opportunities in sectors like healthcare and clerical work. Despite this growth, work remained gender segregated and women were seen as secondary workers, whose paths were not central to family incomes. Women contribute to face discrimination, including lower pay, dismissal on marriage, and limited child care support, and so organize through trade unions and strikes to campaign for equal rights. A key moment was the 1968 strike by women manched at Ford in Dagenham, which helped push forward the Equal Pay Act of 1970, aiming to end gender pay discrimination in the UK.
Altogether, women's contributions were essential to Britain's survival and ultimate success in the war.
So that's it, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video and
Learn something.
yeah.
And don't forget to
Subscribe to the channel, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.